Welcome to the Chronicle on YouTube. I'm here with Hazel Mack. You're how you doing, first of all?
I'm great.
You look absolutely beautiful in your red. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're a hero to people in Winston-Salem, and deservingly so, Ms. Mack. 34 years in law, and your reasoning for getting into law is to make a difference with your people, with our people.
That's right.
Been in legal aid for 34 years.
Yeah.
Why did you open your heart to want to do law for us, to make our communities better?
Yeah, well, I grew up here in Winston-Salem. When my family moved. My family was sharecroppers.
Right.
We moved from South Carolina. And I grew up in Happy Hill Garden, right here in Winston.
Okay.
And I grew up in the church. And the teachings of the church have always been with me.
Right.
And so it has been the one thread throughout my life. So from that, I grew into understanding that a good and a healthy and a prosperous life is, if you want to have that, then you should serve others.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
that's good. And I like something that your Sunday school teacher
Yeah.
said to you. Is it Ethel?
Ethel Smith.
Ethel Smith. And she talked about those who exalt themselves
shall be brought low.
will be brought low.
And those
Why did
who
that resonate
humble
with you?
themselves shall be exalted.
Why did that resonate with you?
Well, she was teaching me a lesson. She was really a teacher. and I was always a bright kid, but like any other child, she saw that I needed that lesson. And she was not just someone who I spent time with at church. I would go help her clean her house. She was an elderly lady, all those things, but she was teaching me all along. But her example was the best teacher.
Wow.
She was so.
So that's so good.
So she
her
taught
example.
me.
That's so good.
I watched
Yes.
her, so I knew how to live. Between those old ladies and my mother, they taught me.
Your walk in Christ is louder than your words.
And it should be.
And
I
it should
pray
be.
that it is.
Yeah,
I pray that
it should be. And you're walking loud.
No.
Loud and proud. It started, you were a young lady, was 17, involved in the Panthers,
Yeah.
which is the civil rights movement. I think there's a lot of misconception of the Black Panthers.
Well, the Panther Party for me, I was young. Again,
Yeah.
like I said, it was a natural progression.
Yeah.
Because one thing I learned in the party as a young person is a few things. But one is we could take very little and make a lot with it. And the other thing was that you just started from where you were. Whatever it was that we needed, and we did it with what we had right there in the community. So we decided we were going to do a breakfast program. So we figured out how to get that done. We decided we were going to feed people, clothe people. We started a free ambulance program here in the city. All those things were done right here.
And this is the Black Panther Party,
The Black Panther Party.
which gets a bad rap as these rogue rebels, violent cats, but that's not what it was all about.
But then, as it is now,
Right.
it's who's telling the story.
Right.
Okay.
Amen.
So if someone else is telling the story, that might be what they tell.
Exactly.
But if you talk to the people that we served and the people who were there, they will tell you a different story.
Yeah. And I know the story.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that sisters and brothers like yourself was a part of the movement. At 17, so that seed was already planted.
But it was already planted.
Yeah.
Long before that.
And then you had Ethel Smith.
Yeah, Miss Smith, Mom. Like I said, those people.
Your
at the
family,
church.
the church.
That's right.
So getting involved in legal aid was just naturally
It was a natural progression.
who you were. Natural progression.
So when I decided to go to law school, that's the only place I really wanted to work was legal services because it would make sense for me
to help your people.
That's right.
Let's go from the beginning to where you are now. When you got out of law school and you started in legal aid, what are some of the things that you were doing?
Oh, some of the first cases that I did. Oh, I was in Philadelphia at that time because I graduated from Temple. So I joined the legal services in Philadelphia, and a few of the first cases that I had, there was a recession at the time. It was the beginning of the Reagan era, and there was a big recession. Philadelphia has one of the largest number of low-income homeowners in the country. So these people were losing their homes. And if you talk about full circle, I want to show you this. So when I came out of law school, there was also a new bankruptcy code, and so new people coming out, it was even Steven in the courtroom because it was brand new. I knew as much as the other guy. So we learned tons of bankruptcies to save homes. So my first litigation work that I did was in bankruptcy court. But I was involved in a class action suit against a very rich man named Selig, who had scammed houses from low-income people in Philadelphia. And that was one of our first victories. We got hundreds of homes for people and their titles back as a result of that class.
That's serious, man.
That's serious.
Yeah, that's some serious business.
I enjoyed it. I just loved it.
You're helping the people.
That's right.
And something I love that you said that inspired me, because you know I do my research.
You do? I see you do.
Yeah, I do my research, especially on people like yourself, Ms. Mack. When you said to serve is a privilege,
it is.
That's serious.
It really is.
And it is.
It really
because the ability to give is the greatest gift.
Is the gift. So you're getting so much.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we just miss. Sometimes when you're trying to instill that lessons into young folks, they don't get it at first, like I didn't.
Yeah.
But after a while, you realize, brother, I've had so many blessings to come out of nowhere. I mean, just fall down from the sky. I mean, that's the truth.
Yeah.
I have wanted for nothing. God is good.
Wow, that is serious.
God is good.
That's serious. So let's talk about how Carter G. Woodson got started.
Okay.
I love that school. I've done tons of things with the school.
Okay. Well, Carter G. Woodson, another a labor of love, grew out of a need. And it was very personal to me because my daughter was not doing well in the traditional public school system at the time. And I left work for a while in the mid-90s and started to practice for about 3 years. And in order to homeschool my daughter, my baby girl. And so while there, the state passed a charter school law. And as a result of that, we looked at it and that's when we decided, and when I say we, the people who were around me, at that time I was married, my husband and my family, we decided that we would look into it, and we did. And I went on the Winston-Salem WSSU radio station and did a public announcement and said, is anybody interested in
No way.
Yes, I did. This is exactly how this happened. I said, meet me on a Saturday at the East Winston Library, right over here. Yeah. And when I got there, brother, it was standing room only. And I knew that the need was there.
Wow. And what year was this?
That was in 1996.
1996. That wasn't long ago.
Not that long.
You know, that is like something you expect in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
No,
that kind of response for something that great. And they came.
They came.
And then what happened from there?
So we formulated committees.
Right.
You know, I'm not an educator, I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
But being a lawyer helped me in terms of getting a structure together. However, there were so many good people who came. Shirley Causer, these are just names that's coming off the top of my head. Alice Bitten. So many people in the community. They came and they participated. We divided into committees, wrote the application. Yeah. You know who else was involved in it? After we wrote it, because we were not educators. My sister, who runs the school, is an educator. So I got her involved with the review of the application. Dr. Newell, Virginia Newell.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
She reviewed the curriculum.
Phenomenal woman, boy.
Phenomenal.
Yes, she is. I did a story with her as well.
People
wow.
So these people.
So you have some phenomenal women involved in this school.
Yeah, but some brothers were there too. Yeah. Brothers were there too. So that's how we got started.
Okay.
A brother named Pender, who was one of our first chairman of the board. He's passed now. He's gone on here, sickle cell anemia. But we had some really phenomenal. You know,
and why did you choose Carter G. Woodson? Why did you choose to honor him?
Oh, because he was an educator,
right?
And did a whole Black History Week that grew into Black History Month, and just his whole life. But if you read his life story, he was such a servant. Yeah.
You're about serving.
Yeah, I'm about the service. It's about the service.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are we at with Carter G. Woodson now?
Well, Carter G is now 20 years in the making.
A big celebration about a year ago.
We're in our 20th year celebration because we opened up in '97. Now, and we're in a fight with the state, Buster, because notwithstanding all the good work that we have done, we don't control the state, and even the charter school movement. There are issues with that. But we'll fight the fight, you know. So
you'll win it,
and I believe.
I know you do. So, in transition from legal aid to Wake Forest, your position there, tell us about some of the struggles during that transition.
You mean recently?
Yeah, that you know,
because I taught at Wake Forest when I was at legal aid as an adjunct in the '90s. To somewhere in there. So I had the relationship with Wake Forest for years. And so when I retired from legal aid, the dean, Suzanne Reynolds, we were at an event, and she obviously knew that she needed that position filled. She asked me about it. Yeah, she did. She asked me would I do it temporarily while they look for somebody else, but it's now become a permanent position. It's a big deal.
Yeah. When you sign a deal when it's permanent, that's big. Yeah. And that says how much they think of you.
Well,
that's a
I
respect.
think the people, the law school is a great place to work. Yeah. And really, they have some good people there, and I really like the warmth of the school. It's very, very much a small community within that law school, and there's some good people there I really like, and I feel like the blessing is mine. Yeah.
As powerful and as positive as a sister as you are, tell me about a trial, tribulation you've been through that another young lady out there listening can learn from, and how'd you get through it? Because we all been through something.
Everybody's been through something.
Right.
But I don't know, I've developed, I don't know, I don't tend to look at challenges so much as trials. I tend to look at them as, what am I going to learn from this? What am I going to do? You have that, you know, I learned a long time ago that when whatever you're faced with, you first got to face it. Okay, acknowledge that it exists. And then I pray about it, and I wait to know what to do. Right. You know, and it will come to you. You will be inspired to know what to do when you really seek it from a higher power.
What do you think we're missing in the Black community right now? I mean, we hear so much.
Well, this is what I think.
What do you think?
This is what I think.
Yeah.
I think that we don't give ourselves enough credit for what we have, and how and what we can do with what we have. Right. We see when you're steady looking outside, you miss what's right up on you. When you study looking somewhere else for relief or for what's going to make your life better, then you're missing what's often right around you. Our parents, my parents, and the people that I grew up under, they had so much less than what we have today. And they did so much with it.
So much less.
So, the question then is, if we should take stock of what we have, then and figure out what it is we can do with that, I think we would be better off. But I think that's the case in all of America. Right. You see, we have come to value the wrong things. We think that what's important is how much you have, or whether you have the best car or the prettiest house, or this or that. So for instance, this building that we're sitting in, it was a little dilapidated. I mean, literally a dilapidated house, which probably would have fallen over after a while. But that's how some people saw it. But when I saw
something beautiful in it.
I saw it, and I walked in that front door, and I said, "Wow, they don't even make houses like this anymore."
Right. Oh, wow!
Look how wide that hallway is. 6 foot wide. And and the ceilings are high.
And they don't. This is beautiful.
They don't make them.
Yeah,
but it didn't look like this.
Amen.
But I looked at how high the ceilings was. The bones were good. Okay. And so what I'm going to suggest is that we really have a lot of what we need already.
It's time to work it.
We got to work it.
And appreciate it. Right. One of the things we talked about earlier before we got on camera is the media, not the Chronicle. We promote a lot of black folk, but young black people, the 18 to 34-year-olds that are like Hazel Mack, Dr. Newell, Dr. Angelo, Oprah. They're out there and they're right here in this community.
They're right around us.
But they're not being promoted. And I mentioned that. This is interesting. When a Tyler Perry released, and nothing against Tyler Perry, it's funny. When he released a Madea movie, it'll make about $40-50 million that weekend. Akeelah and the Bee, which is a very important movie, will come out. Even Southside with Me, with Michelle Obama and Barack, their first date, Southside with You.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful and romantic movie. Everyone should see it. No one went and saw it at all. And then, Madea Boo come out and it's making $50 million. Why do you think that is? Why do you think
we are? I believe that these are things we talk about all the time, but it's what's fed to our young people, and what's fed to us in general that people come to appreciate. But I don't know if it's any different. Even in my days, it's not like we were the most popular people. The folks who got out and did, it's always been a small number of people who struggled. That's a fact.
But it seemed like that back in the 50s, 60s, 70s even, the ones that were about the movement were popular. They did matter because look how far we've come, and it's because of people like yourself.
That's because
Huey P. Newton,
we're
Dr.
looking
King,
back
like
now.
Right.
We're looking back.
Okay.
If even Dr. King himself was held in disdain, he wasn't uplifted at that time.
Right.
Yeah. So you
follow me? I follow you. I'm with you right now.
It's hindsight.
Right.
Okay. The person who
the way it's being promoted.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. So now they praise the Dr. King.
I'm with you.
But the same media, the same leaders,
tore him up.
They tore him up at the time.
And even the black community.
And many in
the black community. That's right. Gonna get us beat up.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So no, it's never been that. So we have to put it in. We have to put it in perspective. So the man or the woman who stands out there on the edge is always taking a chance, and you have to do that because you have the conviction to do so, and because you know it's the right thing to do, not because you think it's going to be popular.
Right.
Okay. So even let's take some things in present day. Let's take Black Lives Matter. Okay. There are people who vilified Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And the people who lead that movement.
Right.
Those are courageous young people.
Right.
They're courageous.
Right.
You see? But there are people, you got the same group of people right now. You got the mass media who, slight them in many instances. But you have people in the black community who avoid them because they're afraid.
Right.
They're always the gutless ones.
Because of the way the mass media make them seem like the bad guys.
That's right.
Don't mess with them.
Don't mess with them.
Gotcha.
Then you have those people who are going to do what they're going to do because it's the right thing to do.
Right thing.
There are always going to be courageous people, and there will always be those who are not. Mm-hmm. And so the courageous people will never outnumber the ones who are not. There are those who stand on the sideline all the time and wait for the safe time to jump in. So now some of the people who were right back there with in the movement, Larry Little, who was one of our leaders at the time, he always said, "Boy, if we had as many people who claim us now, we could have really
did exactly." And I'm sure if Dr. King were alive today, he's like, "Man,
but I'm not mad. I'm not mad at nobody. I'm just saying that's how life works."
Wow,
that's right.
I never thought about that. There's so many people watching this going, "Wow."
Yeah.
That's when you know somebody is on to something. When I talk to kids all the time, I say, a superstar make us say, "Wow." And I tell them that whenever you are young person, elementary to high school, when you're together, your grades are together, your attitude is together, you're responsible.
Yeah.
You make people say, "Wow."
Wow. That's right.
You're a superstar.
That's right.
Believe it or not, when you're walking down that hallway, You are inspiring your peers.
That's
They may not want to tell you because it's not cool.
That's right.
But you make people
they
say,
might
wow.
not even own you at the time.
Oh, yeah, they saying wow. They saying wow. Okay. And then you're right, because then they'll get older and say, if I'd have known that everyone admired me like they do. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And so what are we going to do to get more people, Ms. Mack, to want to go see an Akila Nabi, to want to be a part of a movement that matters?
We have
to
to
not
start,
just be about being entertained all the time.
Well, I admire some of our young people. I know some of these young people who give thought and depth, and many of them think deeply.
Right.
But the people...
I mean to cut you off, but what are the chances that today we can go on the radio and have a Hazel Mack on the radio say, meet me at such and such place, because I'm thinking about putting a charter school together. What are the chances it'll be standing room only today?
I don't know if that would be the call, but if you touch the people,
what would touch them?
Well, I don't know what that is. My time is past.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But you don't think the same thing that touched people then wouldn't touch them now?
Well, I think that whatever that thing is,
right.
it's going to come from the youth.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I think.
Right. Amen.
That's what I think.
Amen.
It's going to come from the people who are it will resonate because it is of them.
Right.
Okay. And they will know when it is.
And do you believe that they are out there,
yes,
ready to put boots on the ground, but they don't have a platform to let people know?
I think that there are people who are out there who labor in the field every day, but they don't get the attention of the media.
Right.
They don't get the accolades. They don't get shown. There's so many, like I said, just people going through my mind. But when the time is, and that time will come, because see, just the fact that you're asking these questions, what it means is that we're recognizing that it's time.
Yeah.
We have got to stop some of the foolishness, because people are not really happy with some of the silly stuff.
No, not even the ones that
not
seem
even
like
the
they
people
are.
who are in it.
That's clowning and acting up.
They're not happy.
Yeah. Years
they're
ago,
looking and seeking and wanting to know. And so, and they want to know. So when it's time,
somebody's going to be bold enough to put together a show that's touching youth and stand up and say, it's time. And here's who I'm going to put on my show every day,
that's right.
every week, and take that bold move.
And we're going to
and if corporate don't like it,
that's right. Then so what?
So what? And then the people will rally behind that person.
Right. That's what's going to it will happen. Now how? Because every generation has its own voice.
Right.
That's why I can't tell you what this young generation's voice is.
Right.
Okay.
That's good.
I'm in the fourth season of my life.
That's good.
And I recognize
that's beautiful.
Okay.
Not being judgmental.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I don't know. I'm not into that because I see the struggle. I see our young people struggling all the time. I see it at the school. I see the people who have to deal with the issues of the day, and in many ways deal with more than I had to deal with.
I remember I talked to Dr. Newell, Virginia Newell, and I asked her, what does she think is going on with our young Black people? She said, it's not the kids, it's the parents don't know that they're in the sandbox. Yeah. And I'm like, gosh. She said, if the parents don't know they're in the sandbox. And I used to say, when they were talking about children at risk, because the school serves, we serve all children, but a lot of times children come to us because, they're not doing, their parents or either they have decided, I need something different. Okay. Right.
And so, what I've learned along the way is often it's not the child, it's the environment in which the adults have, it's environmental. Yeah. It's an environment where the adults often don't know what they're doing themselves. And so, not because they don't love their children, don't get me wrong, they love their children. But you
only know what you know.
But you don't only know what you know.
That's right. You're a product of your own environment.
That's exactly right. And so we have to acknowledge the realities of what exists, because at any time, as long as we breathe, we can change.
That's right.
And so,
amen.
And so we have to, if once people recognize that, they make a move.
Yeah, that's why I work with youth on a regular basis.
That's right.
Plant no seeds is all we can do. Because I'm hoping that one of these brothers and sisters that have access to our youth on these radio stations or whatever, do a Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye said to Berry Gordy, I'm tired of our people shucking and jiving, and I want to educate them. And he gave Barry a song, and Barry said, we're not going to release that. And the board members were like, no way, not right now. We will not get behind it. So Marvin said, I'll do it myself. So Marvin fought, and at that time he was dating Berry Gordy's sister. And so Marvin did it himself. It released What's Going On. It was #1 in the country. The board members came back to Marvin along with Barry and said, could you do a whole album? So that's where Mercy Me came from. Innocent,
put them
all
all
that.
in there.
Right, because people, they wanted to hear something. So that's very good.
They'll know. We're gonna know. And we're there. People are tired of a lot of the silliness.
And
all of this other stuff is just about running its course.
Yeah. What do you think Hazel Mack means to the Winston-Salem community?
I don't know.
What's your role? What role did you feel you played?
I hope that when people think of me, they will say that I did the best I could with what I had to work with. I maxed it with what I had.
Good stuff.
That's what I think, because that's all I did. That's all.